AI, machine learning, data science, you hear these buzzwords thrown around all the time, right? But here's the thing, they're not interchangeable. So what's really the difference, and how do they all fit together? Let's break it down.
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? It totally feels like people use these terms for the same thing, but they really don't mean the same thing. They're like pieces of a puzzle, distinct but deeply connected. By the end of this, I promise you'll see exactly how that puzzle fits together.
Okay, so to really get it, the first thing we need to do is think about the hierarchy. Imagine a set of Russian nesting dolls, where each one fits inside the next, getting more and more specific.
All right, let's start at the very top. The biggest doll in the set, artificial intelligence, or AI. This is the grand vision, the big overarching dream that kicked this whole thing off. It's the sci-fi idea of building machines that can think, reason, and learn, just like a human. It's the ultimate goal.
So if AI is the dream, then how in the world do we actually make it happen? Well, that's where machine learning, or ML, steps in. Think of it as a specific approach to achieving AI. Instead of trying to write a bazillion lines of code with rules for every single possible scenario, we do something much smarter. We feed a system a ton of data and let it figure out the patterns and rules for itself. It's really the engine that makes most of today's AI work.
And if we open up that ML doll, we find an even more specialized one inside, deep learning. This is a really powerful subset of machine learning that uses these super complex structures called artificial neural networks, and they're actually inspired by the way our own brains work. This is what lets it chew through absolutely massive amounts of data to find patterns that are incredibly subtle and complex.
Okay, I know this can feel a little abstract just talking about it, so let's actually visualize it. Seeing it built piece by piece will make it all click into place for sure. First up, you've got this huge, all-encompassing circle, artificial intelligence. Just remember, this is the whole shebang, the entire field, the big idea of creating intelligent machines. Okay, now let's place the next piece of the puzzle. Right inside that AI circle, we have machine learning. See, it's not something separate from AI. It's a powerful method we use to achieve AI. It's how we get the machine to learn from data.
And there we go. That completes the picture. Tucked inside machine learning, you've got deep learning. It's that super specialized technique using those brain-inspired networks. So you have the big idea, the practical method, and the specialized tool all nested together. Simple as that. Okay, so we've got the big idea, the method, and the specialized tool. But these are just concepts, right? They don't do anything by themselves. So who actually uses them? Well, this is where the data scientist comes in. You can think of them as the artisan, the craftsperson who takes all this amazing tech and puts it to work.
And a data scientist isn't just some coder. No way. They're this really unique blend of skills. They have to be a statistician, a programmer, using languages like Python or R. And this is the crucial part. They need to be an expert in whatever field they're working in. They combine all of that to take the raw power of AI and ML and apply it to solve real-world problems, whether that's in medicine, finance, or even just helping you pick a movie.
So we know who the artisan is, and we know what's in their toolbox. But what are they actually building with all this stuff? I mean, what does it actually do for us?
Yeah, let's bring this down to earth. How does all this technology actually show up in your day-to-day life? Well, it turns out that most of the incredible things it does can be boiled down to just 3 main jobs. And this table breaks it down perfectly. First up, you've got prediction. This is all about forecasting a specific number. Think about your GPS app giving you an estimated time of arrival. That's a prediction. Then there's classification. This is about assigning something to a known category. The most classic example, your email's spam filter deciding if a message is spam or not spam. And finally, we have clustering. This one's a little different. It's about discovering new groups in your data based on similarities you didn't even know were there. This is exactly how your streaming service looks at your watch history and says, hey, people like you also loved this show.
Okay, so how does machine learning actually pull off these amazing tasks? Well, the secret, it's right there in the name, learning. But here's the thing, there's more than one way for a machine to learn.
Basically, we can split it into 2 main styles. First, you have supervised learning. This is like studying for a test with an answer key. You give the machine a bunch of data that's already been labeled with the correct answers, and its job is to learn the rules to get those answers right on its own. On the flip side, you have unsupervised learning. This is more like being dropped in a new city without a map. The machine gets a whole mess of unlabeled data and is basically told, go figure it out. Find the interesting patterns, find the groups, and report back.
And here's where it all connects. That learning with an answer key, supervised learning, is the powerhouse behind prediction and classification. We show it tons of past examples to help it predict your ETA or figure out what spam looks like. And that explorer method, unsupervised learning, is what drives clustering. It's the magic that finds those hidden groups of viewers to give you that perfect movie recommendation.
All right, that was a lot, I know. We've gone from these huge abstract ideas all the way down to the apps you use every day. So let's just take a second and pull everything together for a quick final recap.
So, here are the key takeaways. Remember, AI is the big dream of intelligent machines. Machine learning is a practical way to get there by learning from data. And deep learning is a superpowered technique inside of ML. Data science is the actual human field that uses all these amazing tools to solve real problems. And what do those tools do? They help us predict, classify, and cluster, powering the very apps you probably use every single day.
And that really leaves us with a pretty incredible thought, doesn't it? We have built these amazing learning machines that are already completely reshaping our world, and honestly, the only real limit now is our own imagination. So the big question isn't just for scientists anymore, it's for all of us. Now that we've taught them to do all this, what should we ask them to learn next?